well, my name's Alex Henry. I run a non-profit distributing social enterprise called Curiosity Creative, and we're based over in Newcastle, but we work all over the North East. And we run digital storytelling projects with different community groups, organisations, businesses. And I was approached last year by the Glass Centre to work with them on the Recollections project, which is on display in a minute. And it was kind of linked into their bigger Heritage Lottery Fund project. So just was brought in to work with some workers from the glassmaking industry, current students, current staff, so we get a good mix of people representing different elements, I suppose, of the glassmaking heritage in Sunderland.
My name is Gerald Gustard. I used to work at James A. Jodley, which then became Corning Glass, and I was an apprentice there, and I worked there for about 8 years. And recently I've done a project for the National Glass Centre where I reiterated some experiences I had with the removal of the inside of a glass tank. There are no photographs that I can find or see or recount of the experience, but I've got it in my mind and I can remember the pictures that I saw when the glass tank was opened. It was a beautiful sight full of stalagmites and stalagmites and beautiful colours where the glass had been, and I wanted to reiterate that story. So I told that story in the recent exhibition for the National Glass Centre.
Digital storytelling is all about capturing those untold, unheard stories. You can walk around an exhibition, or you can Google something or read a book about it, but they often don't capture those untold everyday stories from individuals who actually experience something. So digital storytelling is a great way of capturing those stories that haven't been heard before. So Jerry's story about the glass in the oven, going in and seeing this sort of wonderland of colours, and Marjorie's story about the guy falling in the bucket of broken glass. So those little snippets is what we're looking for in the digital story. So we really wanted to sort of capture those stories in a way that was easily accessible for visitors. So you end up with a sort of movie file at the end of it. But also for the participants, it's been a great opportunity to sort of come together and share stories with one another.
In coming to the Glass Centre, I met some people who I worked with. That was good. And the experience was good in terms of remembering what happened and explaining to different age groups. The glass plant isn't there anymore, so people can't share in that by going to see themselves. So they rely on films and people's stories to learn the history.
The last group that we had was a really good mix of students and staff and current workers, so just kind of sharing stories with one another and learning about each other's craft and work, and finding out new things about what each other do and how, I guess, the industry has changed over the years. It's obviously very different now with Pyrex and Hartleywood, it's no longer around anymore.
If it wasn't for the Glass Centre, then there would be no one to carry on the tradition of glass. At the Glass Centre here, they do workshops and continue to make glass, okay, on a small scale, but still the technology and the know-how is being carried forward. If the Glass Centre wasn't here, the art form would carry on in small little workshops, and it would probably end up as a small craft thing.
It's just sort of taken a new chapter, if you like, in its life. So it was all about sort of the heavy industry, mass production, and now perhaps it's seen more as an art form, and for some people as well, an interest and hobby.
I've seen some of the workshops, and I've seen some of the youngsters making glass, and there is lots of interest in glass making still. And it's always been a strange kind of technology, and the National Glass Centre is keeping that going, and I think young people are interested in that kind of process and the mystique of making glass. I enjoyed the process, I enjoyed the experience, I enjoyed meeting people here at the Glass Centre, and I hope mine and the other stories will inspire people to join in and maybe do some projects of their own or share some experiences. Yes, I would like to do some more.